It's not every night that I'm able to say good evening and welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. At 7 o'clock tonight, the president participates at a Team USA reception from the Rose Garden at the White House. White House spokeswoman Taylor Rogers told Reuters, quote, President Trump will proudly celebrate Team USA's historic achievements at the Winter Olympics with a special reception at the People's House. Our patriotic athletes showed the world American excellence, and their extraordinary performances united us all in our love of country, end quote. This, as today is primary election day in the great state of Tennessee, and what an awesome picture that is in Washington, D.C. right now. Wow, that's an awesome picture. Can we take that live, take that full screen if we can? What a picture that is right there. I haven't seen that until just now. Wow. Look at that, live right now here at 5:31 Eastern Time, Thursday, August 6th. Beautiful stuff. God's creation. Awesome to see it shining down on our federal city. Wow, awesome. I know I said wow a lot, but that's a good one. In other news today, the U.S. Senate voted to advance a contempt referral to the Justice Department. So we'll see what happens there when it comes to the Anthony Fauci case. Now, we'll see what happens in a number of stories, but let's do this. Let's go to clip letter B, as President Trump was in Nevada yesterday, so let's go to that recap.
Thrilled to be back in the great state of Nevada, where thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots are just doing their thing. 150,000 Nevada workers saved an average of more than $3,000 thanks to the no tax on overtime. And so if you're a waiter, a waitress, a bartender, a bellhop, a caddy, I love caddies, in Las Vegas or anywhere else, anywhere, you pay zero taxes on your tipped income. We're pleased to be joined today by two loving parents. Sandra's a waitress in a nearby casino, and Brad is a hardworking Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer, and together they save thousands of dollars thanks to no tax on tips and no tax on overtime.
Thank you so much for all that you've done enacting these policies that help our family and the families of millions of hardworking Americans.
Ladies and gentlemen, the golden age of America is upon us. We're in the golden age. Thank you, Nevada. Thank you very much. We love you.
Awesome stuff there in Nevada, and of course that live picture in Washington, D.C., as we'll see the president about an hour and a half from now. Speaking of seeing the president, if you missed it a little bit earlier, we're going to fast forward to clip number 12. This is where President Trump spoke about a number of topics during his signing time. Now, this is something where he signs executive orders, that kind of thing, and then he took questions from the press. So why don't we go to clip 12 for now, and then we'll go to the press questions after that, as we have a number of things to get to here on Right Side.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a few subjects that we're going to discuss, all important, but one in particular important having to do with birthright citizenship. And Will, if you would, maybe you could, sure. We'll start it off with what Howard's going to be discussing.
So a short while ago, sir, you signed an order relating to the polysilicon industry. This is a series of trade and tariff actions under Section 232 intended to ensure that domestic polysilicon manufacturing is properly supported and protected from overseas dumping and offshore threats. Howard can speak more to the details, but polysilicon is incredibly important in the chip-making industry and a number of other industries as well. And like many of your previous trade actions, sir, this is intended to ensure that we're onshoring manufacturing capacity, that we're onshoring our own supply of critical products, and that we're protecting American industry from malign foreign actors in that space.
Thank you.
So polysilicon is sort of the foundational product that makes silicon wafers that become the AI chips and the chips that are in our phones and everything. So the president's policies have brought 50% of production into America. But we need the foundational products made here. Otherwise, you know, we're making the products here, but we need the supply chain here. So this will bring the supply chain here. We're setting prices so that the Chinese can't dump anymore, and we're setting tariffs to say build it here. We've got the industry here. It's too small, and it's going to explode under your leadership.
And we're having massive numbers of, I guess you'd call them factories or plants built having to do with the manufacturing of chips, more than we've ever had before. Intel, we're very proud of. They've done incredible. They've really been an incredible company. But we're doing some unbelievable business. Chips will have a big percentage of the chip business by the time I leave office, which could be a long time. Who knows? But it could also be fairly quick. They say 2.5 years. We're going to find out. But I just want to say that it's an honor to have worked with a very smart group of people, and we're bringing the chip business back into the United States in a very big way. Jameson, do you have anything to say about that?
Sir, I think you need to put this in the context of everything else that's happening. Manufacturing productivity is the highest it's been in years. We haven't seen any growth like this for forever. Under President Biden, the last part of his presidency, he lost 220,000 manufacturing jobs. The president has stabilized this. Now the manufacturing jobs are going up. So all of these indicators on manufacturing are happening, and it's because of tariffs, it's because of trade actions, it's because of the investment credits you've given people, the tax credits, everything you're doing, the energy policy, all of it is bringing manufacturing back here, protecting American workers and American jobs.
Well, tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars worth of dollars. I mean, just money, the money that we've never seen anything like it, with no inflation. By the way, everyone said, oh, there'll be inflation. We have very low inflation. We brought inflation way down. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but I say the history of our country, and from the Biden administration, and we're bringing it way down. So the numbers I mean, beyond the money being brought in, the number of factories being built in our country is more now than we have ever seen before. There's never been anything like it, and you're going to see the results. And you're seeing the results already in construction jobs because they're being built all over the country. But in another year, as they start to open, there's never been, we call it the golden age of America, and that's what it is. Now, if we could talk, Steve, maybe you could discuss what we're dealing with on birthright citizenship. We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate decision. So we're making adjustments because it's very unfair. This was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it was supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in. And we're not going to let it happen. So, Steve, if you will, please.
Yes, so today the President signed these two executive orders here relating to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. As the President mentioned, the 14th Amendment was passed exclusively in the aftermath of the Civil War to ensure that the children of slaves would be citizens. It had no other meaning and purpose outside of that. And that's been clear, obviously, since the day that it was passed. You can go back and you can read the congressional debates. This is not something that's even seriously contested by anybody. The President is using his authority as Commander-in-Chief to sign first an executive order using the new ruling the Supreme Court issued to expand the definitions of people who are ineligible for birthright citizenship. That includes, for example, alien enemies of the United States, members of foreign terrorist organizations, and large categories of people who lobby and act on behalf of foreign governments. And so with taking this action, it ensures that large numbers of people who wrongly would be getting birthright citizenship will no longer be eligible for those benefits. The second action that he's taking, which is especially historic, is for the first time ever in American history to ban birth tourism. So I want you to really let that sink in. This has been something that people have talked about not only for years, but for decades. The idea that people come here pretending to be a tourist, pretending to be a visitor, saying they want to go to Disneyland, they want to go visit a monument or go to a national park, but the real reason they're here is to have a child, to make that child an automatic citizen, leave our country, and then have a U.S. citizen child. It gives them access under this broken system to welfare benefits, ultimately to the voting booth, and all the other rights and privileges that belong solely to Americans. So that practice of birth tourism is, as of the signing of this order, hereby banned. And what that means is that no one in the world is any more allowed to obtain a visa for this fraudulent purpose. It is probably, and President Trump has done many historic things on immigration, too many till this now, sealed the southern border shut, record deportations, record integrity, stopping foreign terrorist entry, record reduction in drug seizures, dismantling criminal cartels, dismantling the gangs, right? Everything he's done that has been so unprecedented. I would put this in the top 3 in terms of importance because it ends what has been one of the gravest and most egregious abuses of the American system, and it keeps American citizenship sacred.
Thank you.
All right. Back here live on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Beautiful, beautiful sunset there in Washington, D.C. Let's go to a couple of our sponsors before we go to some of our live interviews here. Being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare a medicine cabinet the same way? You know, that's one of the reasons so many families are choosing All Family Pharmacy. They've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications you need. And instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the medical condition itself. Whether you're dealing with a sinus infection, respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for your everyday maintenance medications, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, so you can actually feel confident you're getting trusted information. Just complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. Then your medication is shipped directly to your home. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You can use code RSBN10 at checkout to save 10%. Also, you can call 561-717-6794 because you'll be able to talk to a real person on the other line, not a computer, not AI. You know, nothing against AI. But anyway, if you want to talk to somebody that's legit right there for you, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, 561-717-6794. Let's also go to Birch Gold Group. You know, you don't wait until your house is on fire to install a smoke detector, right? You don't wait until the wind and the rain hammer your windows and the power goes out to prepare for a hurricane. And then you don't reach for your seatbelt after the impact because after the crash, the hurricane, or the house fire, it's just too late. And within that framework, you don't wait until the dollar goes to zero before you buy gold. It's just too late then. You can diversify with precious metals now because you never know what will threaten your savings next. Persistent inflation, a weakening dollar, unexpected financial disruptions. You don't know what's coming, but you can take a preventative step. You can do that right now by requesting a free info kit on gold from our friends at Birch Gold Group. Just text Trump to the number 989898. There is no cost and no obligation, just straightforward information on how you can diversify your savings, even an IRA or 401k with gold. We trust Birch Gold. You can too. Text Trump to 989898. Great sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are live right now on this Thursday, August 6th. And we have a number of great people to get to here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, including the following. So we are in prime election season, and with candidates on the left discussing woke and DEI policies, we have a story about a certified made in the USA company that is also a disability-owned business sold through Walmart.com and the Angel Buttons website. So joining us now, Joe, I know your PR guy, his name's Joe. It's David Darkangelo joining us live right now. Can you share with us the details about your company being disability owned and the story behind Angel Buttons? Unfortunately, we don't hear our guest. Let's see.
Be with you. It's David Darkangelo from Angel Buttons, and we just got our trademark from the U.S. Patent and Trade Office, and as you indicated, we are verified as 100% made in the USA by Made in the USA Brands, Inc. And yeah, so we're trying to do it. We're trying to really prove the proof of concept. My main business is public relations, marketing, communications. But my daughter is a person with a significant developmental disability, and she loves making these buttons. So we've made some buttons and, we'll send some to you. We want to pass the SAVE Act. We think President Trump is a great American. We've got a new golden age. And what else? Trump was right about everything. So we've got all kinds of buttons for all the holidays. And, as a Trump appointee, I'm with you in the network here.
No, that's awesome. It's great to see that. It's great to see your success with Angel Button. So tell us about the whole story of how it all got started. And then, of course, the details about a disability-owned company as well, made right here in the USA.
Made right here in the USA. So I'm racking my brain because I'm trying to get my public relations into large corporations to really help with disability inclusion. I don't know if you're aware, but over 2/3 of all working age people with disabilities are not even in the labor force. So when you combine that with the people with disabilities that are working age that are unemployed, it's like 70% are not employed. So, I'm one of the few Republicans working on that issue and trying to get people employed and everything. So I'm racking my brain. How do I get into these large corporations? And one day I did a button. I heart golf, and I sent it to the CEO who was sponsoring the golf tournament. He called me back. He said, I love these buttons. I said, can we talk about disability inclusion? He said, well, in the policies, and we don't know what we're doing, but I love these buttons. So that kind of spurred Angel Buttons. Next thing you know, I got a call from Walmart. They wanted to buy 64,000 buttons. I won a golden ticket. And so we were off to the races, and Angel Buttons was born, and I wanted to do it the right way. So I got, again, verified as made in the USA. All of our products are 100% American steel, US steel. And we make them right here in Melrose, Massachusetts. All patriotic themes and positive themes. We do our hashtag a button a day, which are all positive, pithy messages. You can check us out, angelbuttons.com.
That's awesome stuff. Can you tell us about, you showed us a picture of your daughter. Tell us about her story as well.
Yeah, sure. She's got significant developmental disabilities. So when she turned 22, which is an important age, because when you turn 22, you age out of the education system. So even though she didn't get her high school diploma, she kind of graduated, if you will. And that coincided with my time ending in Massachusetts. I've been appointed by 5 different governors in Massachusetts. I was appointed by Governor Baker to be the commissioner, Mass Commission for the Blind, and other roles before that. So when my term, the Democrats took over and my term ended, that coincided with her leaving. So I decided to reopen my business, Archangel Communications, bought this office. And again, we're off to the races with public relations and then Angel Buttons.
That's awesome stuff. Can I see a couple more of them? I mean, these are great looking buttons here. You said that Trump was right about everything. You have the Save America Act. Obviously, this is more of a news political show. So beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what?
We've got all kinds of political.
You should probably hold that thing up there for about 3 hours, and maybe Capitol Hill will get the message, right? Tell Congress to pass the Save America Act.
Well, what's funny is, earlier part of my career, I've worked for Republicans in the state Senate here and run Republican campaigns and everything. An elected official myself, as a Republican in a place where 64,000 citizens of the city, there's only 1,200 registered Republicans, and I won. So anyways, I was the 2014 nominee for Secretary of State. And prior to that, though, I was an election officer for the city of Boston. And so I know quite a bit about administering elections, and I've lectured about it. I've talked to people at Harvard about how we can reform our election system. And really, the memo I wrote for people in the administration is about mail-in voting. Mail-in voting is rife with fraud. If you looked how we've helped, we being America, have helped other countries organize their elections, it's much more secure than what we do here in America. So the good part about what we do in America is it's so diffuse, it's all 50 states. But the bad part is there's no homogeneity. So there's no real way to ensure that and we're now going through with the voter rolls and making sure those are all good and everything. But it's taken so much to do. So we really have got to reform mail-in voting. We shouldn't have it. It's too ripe for fraud. And, so the Save America Act is if they can't pass that, you got to call your Congress people and make sure President Trump is 100% right on this issue.
Yeah, exactly. And we the people and even Democrats, which are part of we the people, a lot of people want to see this thing pass. Now, David, can you share with us specifically the disability that you deal with, but how you're able to overcome that, though.
Yeah, well, thanks. So, I've been legally blind my whole life. And right now, as I look at you, I'm looking through a lot of blood in my eye, and I only see out of one eye. So I may present as a person without a disability. We wouldn't say invisible, we would say non-apparent. So I'm probably non-apparent disability until you get to know me and see, like if you were to look at my screen, the size of the font on my screen is probably 2 inches tall. So I can't drive and everything. So it's a challenge, but I became the first person with an openly identified disability in Massachusetts to reach a statewide ballot, and did it as a Republican, by the way. So this notion that Republicans don't like disability issues or whatever, that's just so push back on that. That's ridiculous. Disability is one of those issues that should be a nonpartisan, certainly bipartisan issue. And it shouldn't be involved with the whole DEI thing and everything else, because the basis is so different. So, as somebody who gets discriminated against regularly, I don't want anybody to be discriminated against. And unfortunately, what's happened is so many of these programs have evolved into discrimination programs. Like so much of modern affirmative action has evolved into that. And it's unfortunate because we don't want that. We don't want that in America. So I do think things are coming back under President Trump's leadership, under Congress. I do think it's coming back to more sanity, which is good. I think that reached its peak and people realized how bad that was because there's no such thing as reverse discrimination. There's only discrimination, and that's terrible. And both Democrats and Republicans agree, liberals, conservatives, everybody agrees. Nobody wants that. And we didn't have that until all of a sudden the Democrats started to make that like the agenda, but it is what it is. We're tacking back now, and we'll be in a better place soon.
Yeah, exactly, especially if the Save America Act is passed. I mean, it's in the title itself, as you know, Sarah, so it's pretty awesome to see that. Again,
we gotta do it. We gotta pass the Save America Act.
100%.
And something as simple as a button really does get the message across. I'll tell you what, if you look at political conventions from 100 years ago, the photographs, they're wearing buttons. And 100 years from now, if you look at photos, they're going to be wearing buttons in those too. So it's a low tech. We emphasize high quality here. We have a 100% customer satisfaction warranty. This is all steel construction, all made in America parts and everything. We back it up. And check us out at angelbuttons.com and our pithy 10-second shorts, hashtag a button a day. And you can see Isabella in those. You can make her day. She loves comments.
That's awesome stuff. I'm thinking about the midterm national convention in Dallas, Texas, and if I get the call that I'm going to be going there to Dallas, I might not. We'll see what happens. But the point is, I hope to see you there so we can so I get some of these buttons as well. I would totally put on one of those, especially the Save America Act one.
Well, I'll tell you what. Send us an email at order@angelbuttons.com, and we'll send you a dozen free of charge because we want to get our positive messages out there.
Awesome stuff. Will do, and I will wear one next week or whenever it gets here. It takes a minute sometimes. But CEO of Angel Buttons, David Darkangelo, thank you, sir, for what you're doing for the country and just being a rock star out there.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Awesome stuff there. Great energy there because, that's exactly what we're looking for is that energy for the Save America Act to pass. Quite the story there. With David Darkangelo live here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go to a few of our sponsors in the meantime here on the network, including the one you're about to see, which is going to be MyPillow.com. Talk about energy. Mike Lindell has energy. That guy has energy. Hopefully I'll crank up the energy a little bit too. So anyway, MyPillow.com/RSBN. A ton of great products there. You can check them all out if you'd like. Quality products, deep discounts. RSBN is the promo code. And on top of that, what a great friendship this has been over the years with MyPillow. So MyPillow.com/RSBN. Also, if you'd like to go to the following, FreeUSADogGift.com. It turns out long before our framers were founding a nation, they were the original dog people. Their dogs walking around the halls of Mount Vernon and Monticello, muddy paw prints on important documents. Probably. And our founders love their dogs every bit as much as we love ours today. So with America's 250th birthday, what a better way to get kids excited about history than through the fun, loyal tail-wagging companions who were there for it all. Our friends at the Kids Guide have put together a great guide called The Kids Guide to the Founders' Furry Friends, giving kids a fun and heartwarming look at the dogs who stood and sat and probably begged for scraps beside our nation's founders. It's the perfect keepsake souvenir for kids, and they're giving it away for free at freeusadoggift.com. Plus, when you request your copy, they're also giving you a second free guide called The Kids Guide to the Founder's Message for Today. Really a must-read for every child. So, during these dog days of summer, head on over to freeusadoggift.com right now to get these free guides for your family and help celebrate America's 250th birthday the right way as we're approaching the 6 o'clock hour on the East Coast. Beautiful, beautiful sunset there in DC. We usually do our broadcasts maybe 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, pretty much all the way through until 3 or 4. But tonight, we're here together. And it's a nice sunset, and that's a beautiful picture there in Washington, D.C. Kind of a lighter broadcast in the sense of, it's, the president's hosting the Winter Olympians. It's a kind of a Team USA reception. Great to start our broadcast with David with angelbuttons.com and, just to hang together here on this Thursday, August 6th. Okay, so let's do this. We're about to have another live interview join us. Looking forward to speaking to Summer Lane, who is, of course, a conservative journalist and a writer here at RSBN, and President Trump has reposted a number of her articles over the years, so great to have her join us in just a little bit. In the meantime, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
It's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Are you serious? Look at that picture there. It's awesome. I don't want to get too amped up about it. I love God's creations. It's awesome to see it. What a beautiful picture in DC right now. Wow. Anyway, I'll stop there. That's awesome. I love that. That's why I talked about Colorado a lot. Gorgeous, gorgeous scenery out there in Colorado, and great to have that live picture here with you on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Now, joining us now, it's conservative journalist and RSBN writer Summer Lane. Thank you so much, Summer, for joining us once again here on Right Side.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back here. I know you write a lot of articles for RSBN, and I'm sure you might have a Substack, and one of the greatest conservative writers that I see that's out there. So it's awesome to have you here with us. President Trump and the team, they're talking about the fraud.gov that was just released. We're talking the Trump administration really showing action and not just talking about, taking a lot of that fraud, revealing it, and then getting that money back and people paying the penalty for it.
Yes. Yeah, I was just writing about that today, actually. I think it's called the Fraud Ledger. And I believe based on the information on the website, the White House Task Force to Eliminate Fraud, which is, of course, headed up by Vice President J.D. Vance, they've identified roughly $230 billion of fraud, I believe, and saved about $59 billion worth of fraud for the American people. And that is a really cool website, by the way. I encourage everybody to go check it out because it's just a public record of all the work that the Trump admin has been doing since January of 2025, which, don't forget, was kind of kicked off by Elon Musk and Doge. And then Vance is carrying that torch forward after Musk kind of got that ball rolling for the first, I think it was like 6 or 7 months, somewhere in there. So it is really exciting to see them crack down on fraud. I think that's one of my favorite things about the Trump administration this time around is that they're really, even if they can't fix every problem, because that's a Herculean task, at least they're making headway and exposing it so people kind of like just know what the heck is going on in their own government that we are paying for.
Exactly. Yeah. And the list goes on there. I mean, the national emergency on the southern border, boom. We go from Biden and all these people coming across to nope, not anymore. How about the National Guard in D.C. just bringing safety to one of our largest cities in the country? And the only reason why I think the National Guard just isn't in Chicago, New York, L.A. right now is because the governors and the mayors they're anti-law and order. Do you agree?
It seems to be that way. I mean, maybe they're protecting themselves from further investigations because we kind of see what happens when we dig into places like Minnesota, like California. We end up seeing a lot of just allegations of very suspicious activity. So part of it might be a self-protection mechanism for some of these people who shall not be named. But, that could be part of it. And I think also they're just fat cats. They're used to, operating a certain way. And they're obviously getting rich off of this system. The American people are not benefiting. So why would they want somebody to come and clean up the streets, right? I mean, it's like almost like dealing with the mafia. Like, you can't negotiate with these people. They are ridiculous.
And speaking of ridiculous, we're seeing the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, and these Marxist groups and AOCs of the world, and just this whole thing. It seems like after President Trump's speech yesterday, wasn't that, first of all, an awesome it was a great speech. This was something that really shows that it's freedom taking on communism and socialism for the November ballot. I mean, is it too far to go and just say those are the things that you really are going to have to vote for there? Freedom or communism?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too far. And I think that's kind of what was going on also in 2024. I mean, he used to say 2024 is our final battle, but the battle kind of continues no matter what, because that is what it looks like to keep a constitutional republic, right? We have to constantly keep it. It's constant maintenance. So yeah, I would agree that this is basically like communism versus the republic, or just a more conservative approach even. I mean, it seems like as the years go by, the different sides have more polarizing approaches. And we see that in the last election, and we're going to see that again in 2026. When you look at the candidates and stuff that are out there, it's wild.
Yeah, it is. Last time you were on the broadcast, we talked about the Save America Act. I know that's a thing that everybody's really talking about, at least on Capitol Hill, but it's going to be a tough one for it to pass, I think, but we'll see. I mean, maybe they will put it in part of that reconciliation bill, at least the voter ID and the proof of citizenship aspect, correct?
Yes. And I have heard, I think it was Speaker Johnson and I think the House is in recess right now, but I think that before they went out to recess, Johnson had tried to attach the Save America Act, or was going to attempt to, you probably heard about this, as like a budget item. So that way they could avert the Byrd rule in the Senate. And so for the viewers, if you don't know what that is, that means that a budget reconciliation item has to be fiscally related. So last time the Save America Act, I mean, it's gone through the Senate a couple times. It got kind of kicked out because it technically wasn't a budget item. So he's kind of like cleverly working around that by saying, oh, let's make this into a federal fund. Now it's a fiscal item. Maybe we can avoid that. I don't know if that'll work, but I'm glad they're at least trying and to keep pushing it forward because it's really important. I believe the Senate goes into recess. It's either today or tomorrow. I think it might be tomorrow. And I know, according to Representative Keith Self of Texas, he had said that at least 20 lawmakers in the Senate would be willing to work through recess in order to get the Save America Act passed. But based on Majority Leader John Thune's comments, doesn't sound like he's super eager to do that. I think he said something to the effect of, I think I'm the only one who can count and we just don't have the votes. So he just kind of seems like a little, Debbie Downer about it. And, it's a hard one. It's a really hard one. We just don't have enough votes in the Senate, not yet, which is why the midterms are so important. I hope that we can maintain our majority. I wish we could add seats too. I don't know what's going to happen there, but yeah, it's a tough situation.
Definitely. And one of those 20 senators out of the great state of Alabama, of course, Tommy Tuberville, Senator Tuberville running for governor here. So he's one of them that said, hey, I'll work through this recess. I get it. And even like an analogy in a way, being the football coach here at Auburn University, he understands what it takes to win. And it might have to be don't go on a vacation or a recess, but yes. Yeah, the numbers are just not there yet. But we'll see what happens. Let's talk about the midterms a little bit. But before we get to November, let's just go to September. Yeah. September 9th and 10th, midterm national convention, the RNC hosting that. The RNC chairman, Joe Gruters, was on the broadcast a couple weeks ago, and he said it's going to be a Trumpalooza or whatever, something like that, he called it. I think that's what he called it. But it's going to be a lot about this country and winning and getting that momentum going. So can you talk to us about your thoughts about that happening? Something that's not happened before, a midterm national convention.
Yeah, that is really interesting, isn't it? I think it's smart. I think it's smart because it's an attempt to capture the momentum of 2024, which was historic. I hope that it helps. I think we're doing pretty well as far as momentum goes. I think we can still ride 2024. I think the messaging needs to be focused on affordability. Trump-a-palooza is great. Trump is always a crowd pleaser. Everybody loves him. We got to focus on affordability. That is the number one issue. It was the number one issue in 2024. It's going to continue to be the number one issue. I'm excited to see that because I've never seen anything like it. So, Trumpian, right? It's definitely like unique. And I'm glad that he came up with that.
Exactly. Idea. Yeah. Trump-palooza coming up in Dallas, Texas at the American Airlines Center. Other stories that you're working on there, Summer. I know that you write a lot about the Iranian war, the conflict there, or the Pentagon. What kinds of things are you seeing out there?
I am seeing a lot about the war, of course. I try to focus on the positive. That's kind of my style, I think, of reporting is I like to focus on like, what are we accomplishing here? Right now, the Iranian war takes up a lot of political oxygen in the room, if you will. So I'm hoping that this war will end very quickly so that way we can just like laser focus as a party on those midterm elections and not be distracted by what's going on over here. And of course, it will help gas prices and everything drop, which will also be good for us. So we got to think about that. Definitely a lot of coverage about the war, a lot of coverage about the Save America Act. That's the never ending story. It just goes on and on, it's like, when is this going to happen? And just following the immigration, I think, issues, I followed a lot of that too. Just like how many people are in detention and how many people are getting deported. I think there was a recent number that came out saying that we've deported about 3 million since Trump has taken office in January 2025. Now, some of those are self-deportations, to be clear, I believe, but still good numbers. So just following all of that stuff, administration stuff, fraud stuff, anything that the DOJ is cracking down on, the fraud division is cracking down on, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm working on. So it's kind of a broad brush, but if it's happening, I'm there.
Yeah, no, exactly. It sounds like more of like a general assignment reporter, but with the political edge, of course. And then finally, let's talk about the vice president. Anti-fraud task force holding these roundtables, really taking the lead on that. Of course, President Trump assigning that work, but again, back to full circle, the fraud. I saw if everybody goes to it's fraud.gov, is that right?
I think it's fraud.gov. Yes, okay. I believe so.
So when you go to fraud.gov, I actually went there earlier, took a couple screenshots. I see fraud uncovered. $229 billion since January 2025. Fraud stopped, $56.4 billion. So documented actions, 25 so far, charges, suspensions, and that kind of thing. So there's a website right there, fraud.gov, from the Trump administration. So what are you seeing now? I mean, we have, 2 months, less than 100 days. I think it's 89 days until the midterm election.
Yeah.
So the House, the Senate, and the presidency, it's on the right side of history right now. Yeah. It's going to be quite the show, you know. Hopefully we have a lot of wins.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. I think no matter what. I think for sure, this is my prediction. I can't prove this, but I'm postulating we keep the Senate. I don't think that's going to be like a big problem. I think the House races are going to be a little bit tighter because we've seen all these different redistricting battles going on. So it's hard to say where the chips are going to land on the board with those. But again, I think if they focus on affordability, our candidates, I'm talking about the conservative ones, I think that they'll win. And the Save America Act too, just to kind of bring that one home, if we were to pass that before the midterms, that would be really good for morale for Republican voters. I think that would stimulate them to go to the ballot box, especially because now they're going to trust their vote maybe a little bit more, because that's an issue that everybody's concerned about. And on all sides of the aisle, to be clear, if you look at the polling. So that would be a great thing for them to do. I'm seeing, you know, if you look at the polling on like the generic congressional ballot, a lot of people are saying, well, it's favored for the Democrats right now, but it's hard to say. It's really hard to say this early because a lot could change between now and then. There is a lot of time, like in the political world, there's just like, you know, this is like a long ways away. So much could change. So I'm hoping that we maintain our momentum and we keep the Senate. Let's hope that we keep the House as well, but we got to stay focused on that messaging. We gotta focus on affordability. I think that's what the people are wanting. That's just what I see as a reporter.
Yeah. And on top of that, in Marietta, Georgia the other day, and in Michigan, the president delivering these speeches, and just the other day in Nevada, yesterday, right? The people are there. The momentum is there. I think it's only going to build more, to your point. So, conservative journalist and RSBN writer Summer Lane, thank you again for joining us. And for those that don't know, you got to meet the president. I know I think there's a photo somewhere on Truth Social of just meeting the president. What was that like again?
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, that was before he had been won re-election. It was the very beginning of 2024. So I got to meet him at Mar-a-Lago, which is a very beautiful place. And he was so kind, unbelievably kind person, and took a lot of time that I'm sure he didn't really have to talk to me. And that meant a lot to me, and it told me a lot, I thought, about who he was as a person. And it was a great honor. So that was fun.
Yeah, no, it's awesome stuff. Again, some of your articles out of Right Side Broadcasting Network, getting retruthed over the years on Truth Social by the leader of the free world, the most famous person on earth. I mean, it's pretty awesome stuff. I mean, and it was your work, and sometimes people that we've seen here at the network just retruth there, and some shout outs from the president back in the day with RSBN. So pretty cool stuff. Summer Lane, thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to reading more of your articles on RSBN and wherever you write.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Thank you so much. Summer Lane joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Great to see Summer out there on the West Coast as we are going to go to a few sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare our medicine cabinet the same way? Because that's one of the reasons so many families are choosing All Family Pharmacy. You know, they've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications you need. Instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the medical condition itself. So whether you're dealing with a sinus infection, respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for your everyday maintenance medications, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, so you can feel confident you're getting trusted information. Just complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. Then your medication is shipped directly to your home. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Use the RSBN10 promo code. You get 10% off. Always good to save some money, but also always good to talk to somebody that is actually on the other line and not a voice prompt, AI situation. You can talk to somebody right there, 561-717-6794. If you have any questions about medications or illness or that kind of thing, they have, again, licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists ready to speak with you. All right, so 6:15 Eastern. Let's go now to Birch Gold Group. On your screen there, you see text Trump to 989898. That's the way you get the ball rolling here, because you don't wait until your house is on fire to install a smoke detector. Of course, you don't wait until the wind and rain hammer your windows and the power goes out to prepare for a hurricane. And you don't reach for your seatbelt after the impact, because after the crash, the hurricane, or the house fire, it's just too late. And within that framework, you don't wait until the dollar goes to zero before you buy gold. It's just too late then. So you can diversify with precious metals now, because you never know what will threaten your savings next. There's persistent inflation, a weakening dollar, unexpected financial disruptions. You don't know what's coming, but you can take a preventative step. You can do that right now by requesting a free info kit on gold from my friends at Birch Gold Group. Just text Trump to the number 989898. There is no cost and no obligation, just straightforward information on how you can diversify your savings, even an IRA or a 401k with gold. We trust Birch Gold. You can trust them too. Text Trump to 989898. Great sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. 6:16, Thursday, August 6th. Looking at Washington, D.C., a beautiful sunset there as we are getting ready to get into Friday. Of course, now tomorrow, President Trump will be holding an event, I believe, at 3 o'clock Eastern. So usually we're live maybe about an hour and a half prior to that. So maybe 1:30 Eastern tomorrow. We'll see what the crew says, and we'll see you here tomorrow for that. And we're looking forward to it. We're also looking forward to hearing from the president tonight at the Rose Garden there. This is specifically the president participating in a Team USA reception from the Rose Garden at the White House. If you're just joining us, we know some of the specifics. The White House spokeswoman Taylor Rogers told Reuters, quote, President Trump will proudly celebrate Team USA's historic achievements back at the Winter Olympics with a special reception at the People's House. Our patriotic athletes showed the world American excellence, and their extraordinary performances united us all in our love of country, end quote. Great stuff. And I do like Winter Olympics more than the Summer Games, but it's going to be pretty awesome to see the Summer Games in, Los Angeles, coming up in 2028. I remember getting a chance, I think it was the Winter X Games, and you know how Shaun White back in the day, this snow boarder that won all these gold medals. Well, he was at the Winter X Games in Aspen, coming down the half pipe, and he came down, and I go, "Hey, Shaun," and he looks over. I said, "Come here." Anyway, I said hi to him and that kind of thing. To be honest, might as well tell you the full story. I said, "Jesus loves you, man." He said, "Thanks, man." Whatever. That's what happened. There's the story. All right, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on Right Side. We've got a lot to go.
It's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First news. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Luxpeer 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Live look there in Washington, D.C. at 6:21 Eastern Time, 3:21 out there on the West Coast. Thanks again for live streaming in with us or watching this on replay. Let's go to 3 videos in a row. Now, these are 3 people that are part of the Trump administration, of course. Kelly Loeffler at the Small Business Administration, Linda McMahon at the Department of Education, and Howard Lutnick, the Department of Commerce. Let's take a look at clip 1, 2, and 3 right now.
With the new tax bill, all of this expansion is possible. And without that, we just couldn't have done it.
I just went by the watch with a whole lot of diamonds and shawty.
Every company I've talked to, no matter where they stand politically, tells me the same thing about the working family tax cuts. They have made a real difference for them. That policy is the reason we could build this factory. And it's the reason we're going to be adding 500 jobs right here in Middle Georgia.
With the working family tax cuts, we empower entrepreneurs to invest and build a facility like this, to hire hundreds of hardworking men and women right here in Middle Georgia. And then you think about it, layers on no tax on overtime, something that encourages these workers instead of punishing them for working.
A lot of focus on big plants like Hyundai and Rivian and others, but there's also just great, startup manufacturing firms that are now going to be hiring 500 people like Unified Legacy.
The heart of the president's agenda is made in America, and frankly, Georgia leaders have made it easy to make it right here in Georgia.
They are ripping us like we've never been ripped before.
Let's make it crystal clear. In 1985, the United States of America and all of our companies and all Americans, we owned more of the rest of the world net than they owned of us, of about $150 billion.
The fact is that you don't have free trade. We think of it as free trade, but you right now don't have free trade. And I think a lot of people are tired of watching other countries ripping off the United States. This is a great country.
In the beginning of 2025, when Donald Trump walks into the Oval Office, the rest of the world owns $26 trillion more of us than we own of them. They have used this trade deficit to buy America beneath us. They buy our bonds, they buy our stocks, they buy our companies, they buy everything about America. The trade deficit has sold out America, and thank goodness we have Donald Trump in the Oval Office taking it on to fix it for the long term for America and for our children.
So a couple videos there. Of course, we'll be going to some more here in just a second. Let's go to Kalshi.com in the meantime, Kalshi.com/RSBN. The app you can download if you'd like, or you can go to Kalshi.com/RSBN, or go to the QR code, as there are a number of topics out there that people are either betting, trading, or just checking out the polls on, and you can do that too if you'd like. Specifically, we're looking at things like, will the Save America Act pass? When will the Strait of Hormuz open? We see it open, we see it close, we see different things happening following that. But also, what will the 2028 presidency look like? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff there just on Kalshi. But thank God it's just 2026. It's August 6th. We have some more time here until we start thinking about that next that next stage of politics. But anyway, 6:24 Eastern Time. Let's go from Kalshi over to Cove Pure, as you see there on the screen, because most of us know there's chlorine in our tap water, because sometimes we can smell it, then sometimes you just shrug and you just drink it anyway, because we've been told it's what keeps our water safe. But what they don't tell you is what chlorine becomes after it's added to your water, and that's why it's so important to filter your water through Cove Pure. Chlorine itself isn't even the biggest problem. Chlorine levels in your water are regulated, but what's not regulated is chemicals that form when chlorine reacts with naturally occurring organic matter from rivers, soil, and plant matter. And we're told when chlorine interacts with those particles, it creates chemical byproducts called THMs. So the government itself calls THMs probable human carcinogens, and they've been linked to disruption of your gut and cancer. Awful. Those pitcher filters you get at the store won't fix this. They improve the taste of chlorine by masking it, but THMs require something far more powerful, and that's exactly what Cove Pure is. Their Clearwave reverse osmosis technology is certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants, so it's not just chlorine or THMs. Fluoride, PFAs, pharmaceuticals, basically if it isn't water, Cove Pure removes it. And this thing doesn't take much room at all. You just put it on the countertop there, you plug it in, and with the tap of the button, you can get hot, cold, or warm water instantly. On top of that, the feedback on Cove Pure from our viewers has been incredible because people have told us they can literally taste the difference. Clean water is one of the best investments you can make for you and your family's health. And right now, they're giving RSBN viewers $250 off if you use this link. Go to covepure.com/RSBN. Again, covepure.com/RSBN. As we're approaching the bottom of the hour, great sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Now, some of the stories that we've been following out there, of course, on the general news side of things, are a ton of wildfires out there. And there's this U.S. Wildland Fire Service. Let's take a look at clip number 4.
A new commitment starts now. Wildland Fire and Aviation Resources within the Department of the Interior are now unified, creating the U.S. Wildland Fire Service. This is more than the launch of an organization. It's our commitment to provide the highest level of protection for people, landscapes, and communities. Through grit, stewardship, and determination, we will strengthen our capabilities. From aerial response to boots on the ground, from Alaska to the southeast, from the eastern area to the Rocky Mountains, from the northern Rockies to the northwest into the Great Basin, from California to the southwest and tribal lands. We are the U.S. Wildland Fire Service. Anchor to excellence, elevate the standard.
All right, let's go from wildfire areas to the state of Michigan, where John James is running for office there. There's a video that he posted recently. Let's take a look at that clip next.
All right, just got off stage, just won the nomination. So excited for your love, your trust, your support, and your prayers. Now the real work starts. We have 90 days to fight for this state. We have 90 days to defeat socialism. We cannot be patriots from our patio. We need to make our voice heard. We need to do the right thing. Stand up. November 3rd is the date. We're going to push back and we're going to save our republic and save our state. Thank you so much for your support. We're going to get it done. Let's fly.
100%. I agree with everything he just said right there. That's exactly, there's some great quotes left and right there. We might have to go back and play that again in just a second. But before we do, let's go to a number of other things that we're seeing out there. Senator John Barrasso on the floor there, the Senate floor, saying the following with clip number 6.
Today's Democrat Party has been taken over by extremists. It's happening all across the country. The minority leader spoke a little earlier today. He seems to be very happy about it. Just yesterday, when talking to the press, the minority leader said this. He said, these extreme candidates, he said, make their party stronger. And now look what happens last night in Michigan. The Democrat candidate for Senate, winning the primary yesterday in Michigan, is truly an extremist. Been endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders, and just recently he hit the campaign trail with a left-wing activist, a political activist who blamed 9/11 on America and the American people. They have a radical set of beliefs, and they are clearly those of the Democrat nominee in Michigan.
All right, as we take that live look at the National Mall there in Washington, D.C. If you're just joining us, good evening. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We know that in about 30 minutes from now, the president will participate in that Team USA reception from the Rose Garden at the White House. We're told from the spokeswoman, Taylor Rogers, the White House spokeswoman, who told Reuters that President Trump will proudly celebrate Team USA's historic achievements at the Winter Olympics with a special reception at the People's House. Our patriotic athletes showed the world American excellence, and their extraordinary performances united us all in our love of country, end quote. This is, as today is primary election day in the great state of Tennessee. That I'm sure the polls will be closing here in just a little bit as it's approaching. It is 5:30 actually Central Time right now, so we'll see what happens there in the state of Tennessee. On top of that, for those of you that have not voted yet, because it has not been your primary election day, of course, on August 8th, it's in Hawaii. August 11th, back here in Alabama for U.S. House Districts 1, 2, 6, and 7. Most of the other Alabama races were back on May 19th. Also on August 11th, so we're looking at next week, we're looking at Connecticut, Vermont, Wisconsin, and also the state of Minnesota, of course, with Mike Lindell running for governor there, President Trump endorsed candidate. August 18th, Alaska, Florida, Wyoming. August 25th, Oklahoma. There's a runoff election there. September 2026, September 1st, we have Massachusetts. On the 8th, New Hampshire. On the 9th, Rhode Island. And on the 15th, the state of Delaware. And then again, back on September 9th and 10th, the RNC hosts a midterm national convention in Dallas, Texas. So we're seeing a lot go on when it comes to the amount of primary election days left, but still, will there be momentum? Enough momentum to get the Save America Act passed? That's something, of course, we've been talking about at a lot of discussions here on Right Side, and we've been hearing the president talk about the Save America Act at the conclusion of every speech for the past 3 speeches. The one I was at in Marietta, Georgia, then to Milford, Michigan, then to Las Vegas, Nevada. The president's speech yesterday just knocked out of the park once again. But at the end, you always think about what people say at the end of what they're talking about, or at the end of a discussion, or it's usually one of the most serious things. I mean, a lot of it was talking about communism yesterday, of what our country would look like under communist rule. Well, but the solutions to that, right? And of course, voting on the right side of history, getting the right people in office is the way to save the nation. And that's why it's called the Save America Act, because we need to have that voter ID and that proof of citizenship, and stopping all those mail-in ballots going out there. And then part of the Save America Act as well, number 4, is no men and women's sports, and then no more transgender surgery for children, that kind of thing. So 5 steps or 5 topics as part of the Save America Act. Let's go to a few of our sponsors in the meantime as we get ready to see the president in just a little bit. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, because being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare a medicine cabinet the same way? Because that's why, a lot of people are choosing All Family Pharmacy. They've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications that you need. Instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the medical condition itself. And whether you're dealing with a sinus infection, respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for your everyday maintenance medications, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, and you can feel confident you're getting trusted information. All you have to do is complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. Then your medication is shipped directly to your home. So it's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, as you see there on the bottom of the screen. You see the QR code right next to it, and then to the right of that, 561-717-6794, you can talk to a real person and ask real questions and get real answers instead of try and talk to some voice prompt AI thing. So pretty cool stuff to be able to talk, especially about the seriousness of medications and illnesses and all of that. So 561-717-6794, great sponsor here on Right Side. Let's go to our next one, Birch Gold Group. Now, you don't wait, of course, until your house is on fire to install a smoke detector, or you don't wait until the wind and rain hammer your windows and the power goes out to prepare for a hurricane. And of course, you don't reach for your seatbelt after the impact, because after that crash or the hurricane or the house fire, it's just too late. Within that framework, you don't wait until the dollar goes to zero before you buy gold, because it's just too late then. You can diversify with precious metals now because you never know what will threaten your savings next. Persistent inflation, a weakening dollar, unexpected financial disruptions. We don't know what's coming, but you can take a preventative step, and you can do that right now by requesting a free info kit on gold from our friends at Birch Gold Group. Text Trump to 989898. There's no cost, no obligation, just straightforward information on how you can diversify your savings, even an IRA or a 401k with gold. We trust Birch Gold. You can trust them too. Text Trump to 989898. Great sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. 6:35 Eastern Time, Thursday, August 6th. Of course, we've been looking live there in D.C. Some beautiful pictures there of the sunset as we are here on this Thursday evening. It is the dog days of summer, as we talk about with the free USAdoggift.com, but that is the truth. I remember calling it the dog days of summer back in the day when I played football, and August was the 2-a-day football camp. Man, that was tough. All that equipment. It's 88 degrees, the humidity. And back in the day, it wasn't really about water breaks. It was about how much can you go? What a time it was playing football back in the day. Anyway, enough of that. All right, let's go to a few more of our clips here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. If you're just joining us, we had Summer Lane join us, the great RSBN writer, and someone that gets a lot of attention throughout the country when it comes to her writing ability. I mean, to have the President of the United States retruth an article is not too shabby, as they say. So we talked about earlier all of the remaining primary election days leading up to the November election, and we know specifically that President Trump talked about something very important on that evening, just a few weeks back, about our U.S. election system being broken. And if you remember, those disclosures reveal a number of things, including hundreds of millions of American voter files in the hands of foreign governments. How about voting machines and ballot counting systems exposed to hacking and manipulation? China and other adversaries actively trying to meddle in elections. Evidence of fraud being buried, hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people still active on voter rolls. No voter ID, no proof of citizenship required, tens of millions of mail-in ballots floating unsecure. Everything I just said there is not coming just from me. It's coming from evidence, truth, receipts, and from the White House specifically. That's the information that was shared that night by the president, but the mainstream media said, nope, not going to show that one. You know, the whole thing about being a so-called conspiracy theorist, I saw a t-shirt the other day that said, Noah was called a conspiracy theorist, then it rained. You know? So, these are the kind of things that we're seeing happen right now in our country. We need to get that Save America Act passed. Let's take a quick commercial break. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll be right back.
It's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Luxpier's 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Before we go to President Trump, who talked about a number of things, including continuing to protect the birthright citizenship situation, continuing to protect the meaning and value of American citizenship. I correct myself there, because we're going to hear from the president for some of the questions from the press. So I'm going to go over this executive order that was signed a little bit earlier. By the authority vested in President Trump as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered, we're going to go right through some of this here, Section 1, the privilege of United States citizenship remains a priceless and profound gift. The president says, since my first day in office, my administration has guarded against the risks posed by malign foreign actors who attempt to swindle American citizens by taking advantage of the generosity of our nation. On June 30th, 2026, the Supreme Court decided in Trump versus Barbara, 609 U.S., and I won't go through every specific letter there and number, but that the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution extends the privilege of citizenship to children born to parents in the United States, for whom no extraterritorial fiction applies. This order identifies non-exhaustively and prescribes action concerning certain categories of children of aliens who do not fall within the rule of birthright citizenship as announced by the Supreme Court. The president saying here within this executive order, it is the policy of the United States that no executive department or agency shall issue documents recognizing United States citizenship to or accept documents issued by state, local, or other governments or authorities purporting to recognize United States citizenship regarding persons when neither parent or that person is a citizen and any of the following applies. Now, we'll get into all those details in a minute, but here's the thing. I know that it can get very wordy with the executive order. However, if you'd like to check this out, of course, you can go to the White House website, read this for yourself if you'd like, as it's very lengthy. But that executive order information just emailed to the press. So I just wanted to read some of that here. Let's go to a couple sponsors in the meantime, and then we'll go back to President Trump when he took questions from the press earlier. Turns out long before our framers were founding a nation, they were the original dog people. They're dogs walking around the halls of Mount Vernon and Monticello, the muddy paw prints on important documents. Our founders loved their dogs every bit as much as we love ours today. So with America's 250th birthday, what a better way to get kids excited about history than through the fun, loyal, tail-wagging companions who were there for it all. Our friends at The Kids Guide have put together a great guide called The Kids Guide to the Founders' Furry Friends, giving kids a fun and heartwarming look at the dogs who stood and sat and probably begged for scraps beside our nation's founders. It's a perfect keepsake souvenir for kids, and they're giving it away for free at that website right there. Plus, when you request your copy, they're also giving you a second free guide called The Kids Guide to the Founder's Message for Today, a must-read for every child. So during these dog days of summer, head on over to freeusadoggift.com right now to get these free guides for you and help celebrate America's 250th birthday the right way. Let's go from that sponsor to the next one. Or if you'd like to donate, just go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate. You know, you could also send a check because a number of donors have done that over the years and still do. And that's 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Again, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Man, it's been quite the past, let's see, how many years now? This September, so next month on the 3rd, will be 4 years exactly that I've been with Right Side. I started out working contract in the sense of, covering various rallies and events. September 3rd, 2022 in, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pennsylvania, and have seen a lot of rallies, seen a lot of coverage, seen a lot of amazing moments here at RSBN. A lot of tragic moments as well that we've covered over the years. Of course, with J13, President Trump dodging that whole situation, thanks be to God. But then Corey Campetori losing his life. So we saw that. We saw a lot of other stuff. I don't want to get into all of that right now, to be honest. But we do know that, of course, we're going to continue on here, and we'll see the president in about 14 minutes from now. So let's do this. Let's go directly to the Commander-in-Chief. He took some questions from the press a bit earlier today. Let's go to that right now.
Thank you. On the birth tourism executive order, what are the plans for enforcement in terms of cracking down on birth tourism hotels this common in parts of California?
Very big crackdowns, and this will give us the right to do it in a much more forceful manner. But they've taken birthright citizenship and they've made a joke out of it. And we're actually the only country of size, I think just about the only country, period, that does birthright citizenship. I thought we were going to win it at the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we had a bad decision, very unfair decision. Our country suffers because of it, and we're ending it a different way.
Mr. President, at the Supreme Court, John Sauer, the Solicitor General, did not have an answer as to how many individuals take advantage of birth tourism. Is there a number that you can cite?
I'll tell you right now, hundreds of thousands, okay? Hundreds of thousands. You have one man came in with a family, said he had 56 children. Another one came in, they said they had 98 children. This was not what it was for. This was meant for the babies of slaves. It was right after 1 week or 2 weeks after the Civil War ended. This wasn't for wealthy multi-millionaires, billionaires coming in and bringing 15, 20, 30 children along with them. It's become a big business, and we're ending that business, please.
What makes you confident, Mr. President, that this will pass constitutional muster?
I think it will. I think, in fact, I asked a very talented person named Will Scharf, who's standing right behind me. Do you want to discuss that, Will? You felt pretty strongly about it.
The law is absolutely clear. What we're talking about, as Stephen said, with respect to birth tourism, something that used to happen incidentally, where somebody who happened to be on vacation here went into labor early and had a baby. This was sort of a relatively small problem. What we've seen in recent years, though, is organized rings, at times criminal rings, setting up a system whereby tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people can come to this country in an organized fashion and give birth here purely for the sake of obtaining birthright citizenship. This order takes a number of different actions intended to combat those sorts of organized practices. We look very heavily at denying visas to people that we have reason to believe are coming here for that purpose. Visas both for putative parents, but also for the people organizing these rings. There's also obviously a law enforcement component. We'll have a full fact sheet released on this soon, but what we're doing is taking legally validated means that are clearly within our disposal and targeting them square on to this birth tourism industry. There's absolutely nothing in here that runs afoul of any of the Supreme Court's opinions on the subject. This is frankly, it's action that's overdue, and I'm thankful that President Trump is finally taking decisive action to combat this issue of birth tourism now that it's been queued up in the way that it has as a result of the Supreme Court's opinion.
This should have been done a long time ago. This should have happened years ago, but we're taking care of it now, please.
Amy, can you help us understand how you distinguish between a tourist and a birth tourist?
Well, I'll let you discuss it, please.
Yes, happy to. And so, by the way, that's an excellent presentation.
Thank you, Stephen.
For those of you who want to do your research on this, Section 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act gives the president this authority. 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Very rarely used, probably one of the strongest laws in the entire federal code, gives him this power. And that's not the only, but it's the main statutory authority that's being used in this order. So birth tourism is by definition a fraud on the American system, on the American taxpayer, on the American visa. If you're coming here, and again, your stated purpose is that you're a tourist, then by definition, you are here to come for a few weeks, look at what we have, engage in commerce, and leave. So if you're telling a consular officer you're here as a tourist, but your true purpose and intent is to go to a baby mill, give birth, and try to mint an American citizen while you're here, then you're committing a fraud against the American government. And by definition, that visa can and should and will be now denied.
Mr. President, there's a report that you told donors that they need to get J.D. Vance elected in 2028. Is that your official endorsement?
No, it's. I heard about it a little while ago. I think he's great, but we're way too early to even be thinking about that. Okay?
And Mr. President, Republicans are arguing a lot right now about affordability. What is your message on affordability going into the midterms?
Well, that's a good question, but it's sort of simple to answer. I inherited the highest prices ever. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country, and we have done an amazing job. And oil prices now are coming down very rapidly. If you look at what's going on, it's down to 75. When I started the very important excursion into the Islamic Republic of Iran, it was a very important excursion because they can't have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, the whole world would get blown up. We're not going to let that happen. Not only us, not only the Middle East, the whole world would have been catastrophic. We had no choice. We had oil down to less than $2 in many places like Iowa. Oil was down to, gasoline was down at numbers that people hadn't seen in years. $1.85, $1.95. So it passed two. I was in Iowa at a stop, and we had $1.95, another one $1.85 a gallon, and we'll see those days pretty soon again, based on everything I see. As soon as the war ends, and I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Yeah, please.
Has a deal been reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's sort of open right now. You know, we have a thing called the blockade headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. And now we control it, but they can always shoot something. They always have something, or drop a mine. And if you have one mine sitting out there, you sort of mess things up because people don't want to take their billion-dollar boats and accidentally get hit by a mine. But I think we're doing very well. I just, I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine. It could be soon, yeah.
Mr. President, have you lobbied any of the undecided Republicans who will vote tomorrow on Todd Blanche's nomination?
I will lobby if I need to. I will lobby very, very diligently because he's outstanding. He should be good. I mean, I can't imagine he's as good as there is in the country. People have such unbelievable respect for Todd Blanche, so hopefully that won't be necessary. I spoke to some people, I did, but hopefully it'll all work out very well for the country because you're not going to find better than Todd Blanche.
Will you reach out to Senator Murkowski, Senator Cassidy, for instance?
Let's see if we need anybody. I'll reach out to whoever I have to, but anybody voting against him would be doing a great disservice to the country, please.
Mr. President, the deadline for Representative Max Miller to withdraw from his race is coming up next week. Yeah. Do you believe he should withdraw at this point?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in that. It's a very sad situation, and I know Max very well, but it's very, very sad that a situation like that takes place. Yeah.
Do you think the DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci?
Well, they prosecuted Peter Navarro and they prosecuted Steve Bannon, two very decent people, over something that essentially was never prosecuted before. And there are sort of telltale signs of similarity. And they went to jail for a number of months over something that I saw one of the analysts said they used to laugh at it in the Justice Department when something like that was referred. But Merrick Garland prosecuted two very decent people and sent them to jail. I wasn't president. I would have given them a pardon in 2 seconds, but I wasn't. This was after I left. They waited till after I left, and then they prosecuted these two people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes, frankly. But They prosecuted 2 people when nothing like that has ever taken place before.
Mr. President, on munitions, you posted overnight that the U.S. has a massive amount.
That's right.
You denied that there were any shortages. There is a supplemental request for $21 billion to restock. So why is that request still there if there's
Well,
no
because we
urgency?
need more all the time. I mean, we need more. Look, we gave tremendous amount to Ukraine. The Biden people did. And they were given free of charge. No charge. No charge. Billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And fortunately, I built up so much during my term. I rebuilt the military and also loaded it up with a lot of stuff. And we have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have unlimited, virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis. As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks, for everything. But we have certain types of munitions which are very, they may not be as accurate. They may not be, they're not as elite. We have elite too, but we're watching that very closely. But we have certain types which are very powerful and very good, and we have an unlimited supply, and so we're in great shape. But with that being said, we always want more. We have to have more. We have other things maybe come up. Maybe come up and maybe don't come up. Hopefully nothing else does come up. But we're in very good shape. We have literally massive amounts of ammunition. Yeah.
President, on Ukraine, President Zelensky says his country desperately needs long-range missiles or those Patriot missile batteries. Is that something that you're considering?
We want missiles too. When Biden gave him so much, Biden gave $300 billion worth of ammunition. When I left, it was full, and he gave a lot of it away. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're using munitions that are very powerful, very good, but we wouldn't have been using them. We could have used something else. But these are a little bit older type, equally as effective, and it's things that we have so much of. Plus, we have supplies of munitions all over the world that if we ever needed them, we'd take that. We're supplied all over the world, but we're in very, very good shape.
Russia seems to have increased their attacks on civilian areas.
Yeah, I know.
That must be a concern to you.
Well, look, we're not involved from the standpoint we're separated by an ocean, but I hate to see 25,000 young people a month get killed, and that's what's happening. Between Russia and Ukraine, they're losing on average 25,000, mostly soldiers, a month. And, we're working on it, and I think we're making progress, but it's a violent, very violent war. There's a lot of hatred in that war, a lot of hatred between the two leaders. I settled 8 wars. I thought this would be maybe one of the easier ones, and it turned out to be the most difficult. But progress is being made. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, the president taking questions there from the press. As you just saw, we are standing by now to see the president once again as he will participate in a Team USA reception from the Rose Garden at the White House. A beautiful evening there in D.C., so we'll be going there as soon as we see that live feed. We have a few more clips to go to as well if we're going to be a little bit, on standby for the president. But at the end of the day, glad you're here with us here live, and also those that watch on replay. All right, let's go to a few of our sponsors in the meantime, including Kalshi.com/RSBN. I'm going to go to Kalshi real quick here, and if you would like to go to, let's see. Let's go to Kalshi together. I actually pressed Rumble instead. Rumble's a good one. Kalshi. All right, here we go. Elections. Specifically, they're talking about the South Carolina Republican Senate special election, the 2028 Democratic presidential nominee, the Republican nominee. So many different questions just on elections here on Kalshi. So if you'd like to check it out, Kalshi.com/RSBN. The QR code's right there as well. And also you can download the app. There's more than 1 million users on this thing, and people are betting, they're trading, and they're also just checking out the polls on Kalshi. So one of our great sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. And let's also go to another great sponsor, Cove Pure, because most of us know, as I've mentioned a few times here, there's chlorine in our tap water. We know we smell it, we shrug, then we drink it anyway because, We've been told it's what keeps our water safe, but what they don't tell you is what chlorine becomes after it's added to your water. And that's why it's so important to filter your water through Cove Pure, because chlorine itself isn't even the biggest problem. Chlorine levels in your water are regulated, but what's not regulated are chemicals that form when chlorine reacts with naturally occurring organic matter from rivers, soil, and plant matter. So when chlorine interacts with those particles, it creates chemical byproducts called THMs. And we're told that the government itself calls THMs probable human carcinogens. These probable human carcinogens have been linked to disruption of your gut and also to cancer. Those pitcher filters that you see at the store, they won't fix this. They'll improve the taste of the chlorine by masking it, but THMs require something far more powerful. And that's exactly what Cove Pure is. Their Clearwave reverse osmosis technology is actually certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. So it's not just chlorine or THMs, fluoride, PFAs, pharmaceuticals. If it isn't water, Cove Pure removes it. And this thing doesn't take up much room at all. It looks great right there on the kitchen counter. You just plug it in. You don't have to call someone in to install it. And with a tap of the button, you can get hot, cold, warm, whatever temperature water you want instantly. And finally, the feedback on Cove Pure from our viewers has been incredible. People have literally said they've tasted the difference. Tap water versus filtered Cove Pure water. And we know that clean water is one of the best investments you can make for you and your family's health. Right now, they're giving all of us, right, $250 off. covepure.com/RSBN. So thanks so much for watching, and go ahead and go to covepure.com/RSBN. It is now 1 minute after 7 o'clock on the East Coast, 4 o'clock out there on the West Coast. Thanks so much for watching from coast to coast, including the great Central Time Zone, the Mountain Time Zone, and anywhere else you may be watching this live broadcast. Thank you for doing so. We're going to see President Trump here in just a little bit as our crew has got their feelers out. They see, they hear, they're seeing what's going on with what's next in the sense of the live feed from the Rose Garden there at the White House. Now, as we await the president, let's talk Georgia for a second. Mike Collins is running for U.S. Senate. Let's take a look at a recent video from his campaign, clip number 7.
You know, people always ask me, they say, Mike, how did you get things done in Washington? I mean, it's so dysfunctional, no one agrees, and everything takes too long. Well, it's easy. It's because I went to Washington and I was laser focused on getting results from my constituents by doing the same thing I've done every day for my customers and employees. That's bringing everyone to the table, finding common ground with uncommon people, and just delivering solutions to improve people's lives. You see, I'm in one of the most regulated and taxed industries there are in the country. I know what it's like to fight the federal bureaucracy that stifles growth, innovation, and job creation. And my plan as your next U.S. Senator was simple. Just use my business experience to build on the record of results that I've delivered in Washington and make life more affordable, more safe, prosperous for every Georgia family.
All right, so we're seeing that this is going to start any second from now. We're also seeing that American athletes won a total of 12 gold medals, which surpassed its highest medal haul of 10 golds in 2002. With a total of 33 medals, this was the third most successful Winter Olympics in the United States after 2010 and 2002. So a ton of gold medals, 12 golds, that's the record right there. This coming from Wikipedia, but you know, you can go there for sports usually, right? All right, so anyway, 7:04 Eastern Time, Thursday, August 6th. I think we have time. I don't know. Director, should we go to videos or should we stand by? Okay, so you said as is? Okay, cool. So we're going to continue to toss some videos as we await the president. Let's go down to one of the latest videos from the U.S. Southern Command, clip number 10.
We will apply total systemic friction, put pressure on the networks that originate down in South America, transition through the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific, and end up in Mexico in the plazas, then on the streets of America. We are now changing the game.
All right, as we know, the U.S. Southern Command video happened right there. Now, HSI stands for Homeland Security Investigations. They've been relentlessly protecting children from criminals and bringing them to justice. Here's clip 11.
HSI special agents are the nation's watchdogs, fearlessly rooting out corruption wherever it hides, especially among those entrusted with our children's safety. Whether you're a teacher in Oklahoma grooming and possessing child exploitation material, a school board vice president in New York enticing minors and collecting horrific child abuse images, or a former child care worker in Ohio preying on the most vulnerable, HSI agents will find you and bring you to justice. Our teams work tirelessly around the world to root out predators hiding behind positions of trust. HSI's message is clear. No title or position will shield you from accountability. For more information, check our social media or our website at hsi.gov.
All right, so Homeland Security Investigations doing a great job out there protecting our children, but also those that are criminal, whether it's criminal illegal aliens or just criminals in general, taking care of business there. Let's go to the White House right now.
Great athletes, great athletes. Thank you very much. It's a real honor to be with stars. I like being with stars. I like being with winners. You're winners like nobody. Thank you very much. Fantastic. It's fantastic. Today we're truly honored to welcome to the White House perhaps the greatest group of Winter Olympians in American history. At the 2026 Olympic Games, Team USA won more gold medals than any American Winter Olympic team has ever won before. And what an amazing achievement. Not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty good, isn't it, huh? We had some good teams, too. We're also honored to be joined by many of the members of the U.S. Paralympic team who are fantastic. I watched so much of that and showed unbelievable strength and persistence and skill, and brought home an incredible 13 Paralympic gold medals to America. Congratulations. That's a lot of medals. It's a record. That's a record. Along with the athletes, I want to thank the Team USA coaches and staff members who are here today, as well as CEO of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committees, Sarah Hirschland. Sarah, wherever you may be, thank you. Please stand up. Great. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Treasurer of the United States, and this is a very good friend of mine. Where's Brandon? Brandon Beach. That's a good position. Treasurer. Think of that, Treasurer of the United States of America. That's good. He controls a lot of money. And the Director of the United States Mint, Paul Hollis. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Great job. So last February, these incredible Olympians traveled to northern Italy, and they returned home to America wearing 9 bronze medals, 12 silver medals, and a record 12 Winter Olympic goals. Nothing like that. That was the all-time record. These men and women sacrifice years of their lives and countless early mornings to be the best in the world. That's right. I guess you get up early in the morning, don't you? I remember those days, but I didn't do it as well as you. Not quite. It's really something, and they were early mornings, and they did it for the highest privilege in all of sports, wearing the red, white, and blue while representing those 3 proud letters on their uniform. It's called USA, and that's what you do. Among the great medalists with us this evening is one of those who helped bring home the team figure skating gold, Danny O'Shea. Where's Danny O'Shea? Where's Danny? Where's Danny? Not bad, Danny. That's pretty good. I watched that one. Great going, Danny. You look better in person if you want to know. When it mattered most, Danny skated the best he has ever skated. Would you say that was the best you've ever? The best. You're never going to do it again. Are you going to do it again? You'll do it again. Do it again. That's great. Yeah, but he said it was the best he ever skated, and other people too in his entire life, and his performance helped the U.S. edge out Japan, who's a very great team, in the team event by a single point, 69-68. And I want to just say again, because I watched that, Danny, well done, and the whole team, well done. That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you. That's great. Also with us is the single most decorated American Olympian from the 2026 Games, speed skater Jordan Stolz. And I watched that one too. Strong legs, very strong legs. I said, how do I get my legs to look like that? I don't have any time to work like that. But you were amazing. And historic victories. Jordan broke the Olympic record in the men's 500-meter, 1,000-meter speed skating, winning double gold medals. In addition, Jordan brought home the silver in the 1,500-meter competition, and he just did a great job. Everybody's still talking about it. So, Jordan, where are you, Jordan? And I met Jordan before, and he's a fantastic young man, great future. We also have the gold medal champion in women's moguls, Elizabeth Lemley. I don't know how you do that, Elizabeth. That's amazing stuff. Where's Elizabeth? Hello. Elizabeth. Along with gold medal winning mixed aerial freestyle skiing team consisting of Christopher Lillis, Connor Curran, and Kayla Kuhn. Thank you very much. Wow. Where are you? Great job. I also have to mention the team that won perhaps the greatest victory on the hockey rink since the original Miracle on Ice, and they were here in February, and it was an amazing moment, just an incredible, the 2026 men's Olympic hockey team. We celebrated together, and it was something special. It was really an amazing period of time, and the women's team and the men's team, it was just incredible. And in that overtime thriller, Team USA beat Canada 2-1 thanks to many memorable performances and clutch plays, including the golden goal. They scored it. They call it the golden, it sounds like me naming it. I call it the golden age of America. The golden age of America. Now we have the golden goal. But that's okay. And that was done by Jack Hughes, as you know, great guy. And a record 41 saves by goalie Connor Hellebuck. And he was MVP. Everybody would agree to that. He was unbelievable. He was something. And of course, we can't forget and never would. And nobody would have the courage to forget either, because they are amazing. The history-making women's hockey team, this team left everything right on the ice, and they beat Canada and clinched the Olympic gold. With us today are two of the key contributors to that winning effort, Abby Murphy and Joy Dunn. And I want to thank you, Abby and Joy, for really a memorable period of time. It was just an amazing time for our country. Where are you, Abby and Joy? That was really something. But never before in history have both of our men's and women's hockey teams won gold in a single season. This is truly and I say it, it's just a period of time. Our country has never done better than it's doing right now in so many different ways, even in terms of investment. 19.2 trillion is pouring into our country, making them richer. It's making everybody in this room richer, including my man. But it's been a great period of time. And I will say this: the whole world and they know it and they say it. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and a big factor is right standing behind me. And what a future they have, every one of them. Thank you very much. Such an honor. So, adding to this historic success, our Paralympians brought home their 5th straight gold medal in sled hockey and extended one of the greatest dynasties in all of international sports. And it's amazing what you've done. Nobody's ever done anything like it. Where are you? Let me just see. Congratulations, And congratulations to Brett Bolton, David Eustace, Jack Wallace, Caden Beasley, Kevin McKee, Landon Utke, Liam Cunningham, Malik Jones, Declan Farmer, and Jen Lee. You are really an inspiration, and thank you very much. It's an amazing achievement that we'll never forget. And it was a record. There's something nice about record performances. It was a record. It's one of the highest pleasures of the presidency to be able to support our nation's best athletes, and that's what they are, and celebrate the champions of Team USA. Under the Trump administration, we're doing everything we can to protect the cherished sporting traditions that have long been part of our nation from the beginning, right from the beginning. And already we've done a lot to help save women's sports, and we're also saving college sports. We're in the process of working very hard. We had a bad judge's decision, and a judge that knew nothing about sports declared sports unconstitutional. Can you believe it? And we had to come and put something together, and we had the help of so many great people. They all came together, and we have a bill right now that we're trying to get passed, and if it does, we'll be bringing sports back, and you'll all be protected, and your sports will be protected, and frankly, women will be protected. Because with what happened, that was the worst thing that happened to women's sports. You understand that. And we're working very hard with a lot of great people. Nick Saban, as an example, was so instrumental. Andy Levine, he's the president of the New York Yankees. And just so many, they all came together. The Big Ten, the SEC. And what a mess it was, a court case that was a disaster. And why they didn't appeal that case, I have no idea. I won't ask about that, but they didn't appeal it. Some genius said, let's not appeal it. And that was a perfect case to win an appeal, but the people that were running things did not appeal it. So foolish. But we have it going, and we're very close to a deal that will be terrific, I think, and really save college sports and save colleges, if you want to know the truth. The money that was being spent because of this ridiculous decision that was made. But the collegiate athletic system is the engine of American Olympic dominance. And, you know, you produce the great Olympians. They really can compete in college and all sports, every sport, producing 88 Team USA athletes for the 2026 Winter Games alone. And to that end, I am urging the House and the Senate to come together, bipartisan if possible, and it looks like that's what they have done, together and send the bill to my desk. I will sign it immediately, done by some of the greatest people in sports, and I think we have no choice. We have to get that done, right? We have to get that done, and if we don't, we're very foolish. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're in Never Never Land, and we're not going to let that be happening. We're just not going to let it happen to these great people and others, but we're not going to let that happen. I know many of the Olympians here today are already training for the next Winter Games in 8 years from now. Who is expecting and hoping to be in the next Olympics? Because, well, we're going to run that good like we did the world. Good. That's great. That's great. Well, we're going to do a real job. You know, we had the greatest, most successful, the FIFA, the World Cup was the most, and I want to just pay a special thanks to Andrew. You did a fantastic job, Andrew Giuliani. Great job. It was like a flawless thing. It was 4 times more successful than any, monetarily and every other way. I think other ways even more than that. But it was, well, thank you. But we're going to do it again now for them. We have to do it again for them. So we're going to make this one of the best, maybe the best. But that was the most successful World Cup they've ever had, by far. They actually say by 4 times greater. I said, let's do it again in 4 years. But other countries had problems with that, right? But in 8 years from now, some of you may even have a chance to compete on American soil on the 2034 Winter Olympics, where it's going to be in Salt Lake City. And of course, and that'll be great. And of course, we're all looking forward to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. So we got a lot of action. We have a lot of action going, so it's really going to be something, and it's going to be well run. It's been well run, just like FIFA. We didn't have a problem. It was so smooth. All of those games, it was sort of like they said, having a Super Bowl every day, and actually in some cases having about 4 Super Bowls a day. But it worked out so flawlessly. We're very proud of it. And so I want to just once again thank everybody representing our nation so incredibly and setting all of those records, because many of you set records. Setting a record is a big deal all those years. And you showed the entire world that the Americans really, they know how to fight, and win. And you can do that better than anybody. And I'm going to be watching you again very soon. And now let's have 2 of the Team USA's flag bearers, the great flag bearers, this past Winter Olympics, come forward for a special gift presentation. One of the most decorated Paralympians in U.S. history, a phenomenal athlete, Laurie Stevens, along with U.S. Army Sergeant and bobsled team member, a great talent, Frank Del Duca. Do you know Frank Del Duca? Where's Frank Del Duca? Is that Frank? Come here, Frank. Ooh, strong, very strong hands. Great. Would you like to say something, please?
Mr. President, my name is Frank Del Duca, and I'm joined here with my teammate, 6-time Paralympian Laurie Stevens. We had the unique privilege of serving as Team USA's flag bearers at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games in Milano Cortina. Thank you for welcoming us to the White House. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for your support of America's Olympic and Paralympic athletes, and for helping to celebrate the movement that unites and inspires so many across our country. On behalf of Team USA, we would like to gift you these keepsakes. We hope you'll wear them proudly as you continue to cheer on Team USA.
I will be. Thank you very much. USA. We're going to do something a little special. If you can get down, we have some really beautiful coins. I love coins. I always love coins, but we have the best of them. We're going to give everybody here a very special coin. And if you can, you'll get down and I'll show you the Oval Office. You'll like to see the Oval Office. I don't think there's a little many of these. And most of them I just want to get out of there. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. Some of them I
love, and some of them I don't like so much. But they all come here. We just had the Dodgers. They were fantastic. The Super Bowl winner. We have everybody. And this is one of the great honors. And really, you're tremendous athletes. I mean, to do it 6 times. How do you do it 6 times? That's a lot of heart. That's a lot of heart. So we're going to come down to the Oval Office together. We're going to take one picture here. And then we're going to present you all with a very special, really something that you're going to like, a coin, but very special coin from the White House, okay? Thank you. Does anybody not want to go to the White House? I want to go to the Oval Office. Great job. Great job. Let's go. We'll do this. Come on. I'll see you down at the Oval, okay? We'll see you down there.
Try it a little bit.
Quite a large event there. We were talking about the original schedule saying that that was going to be at the Rose Garden, but that was a lot of Olympians there. So maybe that's why it was back into the East Room. Also checking some of the weather radar, there was a storm on the way. So maybe that's why it was in the East Room. But regardless, quite the nice event there as the Olympians get to go check out the Oval Office, and a lot of gold medals there. And of course, it was fun to see the USA hockey teams, both men and women's, do such a great job as the president participated in that Team USA reception from the East Room of the White House. This all brought to you by some great sponsors. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN is the place to go, because being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare our medicine cabinet the same way? You know, that's one of the reasons so many families are choosing All Family Pharmacy. They've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications you need. Instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the medical condition itself. So whether you're dealing with a sinus infection or a respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for everyday maintenance medications, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, so you can feel confident you're getting trusted information. All you have to do is just complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. So then your medication is shipped directly to your home. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Use that code RSBN10. You'll get 10% off at checkout. 561-717-6794 is the number to call if you'd like to speak to someone, a human, instead of a voice prompt where you say agent or whatever, you're trying to get to somebody. You get right to a person there. 561-717-6794. Great sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Looking forward to seeing you guys here tomorrow. As of right now, we know at 1:30 Eastern Time, we'll have this coverage that will start, and it is all about the president participating in an American mining industry roundtable in Washington, D.C. That's again tomorrow. Well, our coverage will start at 1:30 Eastern Time, so hopefully you'll join us here for that as we get into the weekend. Of course, always thinking about the Save America Act, wanting that to pass. There's a lot of different news items going on in that 24/7 news cycle. But every once in a while, all of the talking that you hear from yours truly and others, and out there in the field and interviewing some great patriots, Every once in a while, you just trip up your words. Let's go to clip 16 from just yesterday. Is Air Power Foundation Executive Director. Hey, Director, how you doing? Melissa Keenis to talk about our nation's great veterans. Hey, I'm glad that you could have a nice personality with me and laugh. I'm glad you're not offended by me calling you a director.
Not at all, Matthew, and thank you so much for having me on here today.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell us about the Air Power Foundation? Is Air Power Foundation Executive Director. Hey, Director, how you doing? Melissa Keenis to talk about our nation's great veterans. Hey, I'm glad that you could have a nice personality with me and laugh. I'm glad you're not offended by me calling you a director.
Not at all, Matthew, and thank you so much for having me on here today.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell us about the Air Power Foundation? All right, there you go. You get the idea. Director. I said it really interestingly. I don't know why. I think maybe on the television screen behind the camera, I saw the O and I don't know, and I just said director. Or A, or whatever. But make comedy great again, right? Even in organic moments like that. I love comedy. I hope you do too. Laughter is medicine. You got a belly laugh, right? Hopefully you get that done at least once a month somehow. Get overtired and drink some coffee. This may have just happened recently because my wife and I, we have 2 babies under 2 years old, and sometimes you don't get a lot of sleep. Then you drink coffee, then you have to take a trip to another town, all the different things that happen. And you get a little bit goofy. Make comedy great again, right? Anyway, so it's 7:31, bottom of the hour, Thursday, August 6th. We'll see you guys here tomorrow as well. Looking forward to that. Now, at 1:30 Eastern, again, as I mentioned, the president, we'll start our coverage at 1:30 as the president has a roundtable in D.C. And then I said to the guys here at the crew, I said, I think, and this is just a wild guess, so let's see if I'm right, that there will be either an 11 a.m., a 1 p.m., or a 2 p.m. White House press briefing with Carolyn Leavitt. Nobody has told me that there's going to be one. It's just a wild guess. And it's kind of thinking about going into the weekend. There hasn't been a press briefing in a minute. I know we just saw one a little bit ago. But that's my guess. Let's see if I'm right. If I'm not, it is what it is. Let's go to MyPillow as we close up our broadcast today. MyPillow.com/RSBN. You can save with that RSBN promo code. Quite the discount too with some awesome products. MyPillow.com/RSBN. If you'd like to donate to Right Side, all you have to do is go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. rsbnetwork.com/donate. We'll see you guys tomorrow.